Tick tock tick goes Ms.Time's riddle, a familiar beat that plays games on all our lives. Time waits for no one, and that often turns into a big challenge as we juggle between what we want, what we need, and what we have. Sometimes, while juggling, a ball drops to the ground, and it seems like the world we're trying to build up crumbles down, leaving back just a long stretch of unproductive time. Just 2 years ago, the world as I knew it changed because of the onset of the COVID-19's regime. I found myself feeling sucked into some sort of a time zone where everything else around me was happening in this unpredictable way. Because of this, I couldn't manage my time very well. Often at times, I found myself having to study or do my homework when I wished I could have been doing more fun things, like watching TV or reading a novel. Other days, I would have given in to the temptation of watching TV when I should have been studying. In either scenario, I was left with a sense of incompleteness. At an abrupt end to that unforgettable year, I was left satisfied only because I got a good grade and put in the course that I wanted for in the next academic year. However, one question I still ask myself is whether that repetition of being stuck could have been altered with a better conviction. You see, managing time is all about balance. It's about balancing between what you want to do and what you need to do, not an overemphasis of either one. For example, let's suppose that you have this novel and you got into a really interesting scene. Being responsible, you might want to stop reading that novel so that you can finish your homework first. However, because your mind is so captivated by that story, you'll end up spending so much time in just trying to concentrate. In other words, you'll end up wasting your time, and in the end, you may not even have enough time to read that novel. Instead, wouldn't it be better to first finish that novel, get through that really interesting scene, and then switch your full attention to only your homework? This way, not only will you get everything done, but you'll also have time to spare. This strategy that I put forth is something that my yoga teacher often said back in 8th grade. You see, our body, mind, soul, and heart all have a balance based on the investments that we make in time's locker. Whether that opens up parts of who we are or locks us more in is based on how time speed goes. Is it an upbeat solo, a soothing melody, a peppy pop music, rock and jazz, or is it nonsensical noise? Someone who's in charge of their own orchestra will produce notes that uplifts their spirits, matches their inner voice, and makes them feel complete and satisfied. But someone who allows everything and everyone else in their life to drive that orchestra will find themselves in the passenger seat of their own life. If you want to take up the steering wheel, then you need to first understand what time itself really is. How do we answer time's riddle? Biologically speaking, our brain runs in its own cycle of events, in its own order and speed. And when this speed is altered or interrupted because of something happening around us, you'll start seeing illusions in your perceivance of time. For example, in the experimentally proven Kappa effect, you'll start feeling like time is speeding up or slowing down. There are many different reasons for these illusions to occur. It could be because of your emotion, positive or negative. It could be because of an increase or decrease in your brain activity. Your age also has a role to play. A study found that a 3-minute time period was interpreted differently by different age groups. 19 to 24-year-olds found it to be around 3 minutes and 3 seconds. But those who are around 60 to 80-year-olds we're finding it to be around 3 minutes and 40 seconds. In Martin Heidegger's 1927 book called Being and Time, he concluded that we are not living within time, but that rather we are time. We're not traveling within this force of time that's controlling us. Rather, we are the ones who are even constituting it. This means that every single time you blame time for something that goes wrong in your life, you're actually only indirectly blaming yourself. So how do you patch up your sails, take up the captaincy of your own ship, and ride over time's tides? Well, the answer is within you. Life is this journey that we embark on to find out who we're meant to be, our inner purpose. We want to achieve greatness, and we believe that we can do that only by controlling every single uncontrollable aspect of our life, namely time. We feel that by managing time, we can achieve greatness. But my question to you is this. Controlling time is a matter of controlling your minds. Why do you want to control your minds? Why do you want to think in this certain narrow-minded way? Why is it that you want to lock yourself up in your own prison when you can unleash the wilder spirit of your thoughts to save your day? Why not have all these maps that you're drawing up, maps that never plot down all these landmarks and leave space for you to get lost? Why not throw all of these maps away in the perils of time's winds? And why don't you take up the sturdier compass to lead your way? A compass that is driven not by some external force, but by your internal forces. A compass that is driven by your intuition, your inner voice, your passion, and your consciousness. Because this compass is driven by you, you'll find that no matter where you are, it'll always guide you in the right direction. Even if you feel like you're lost out in a storm, even if you feel like you've shipwrecked on an island and you can't get out, even if you feel like you're in this maze filled with twists and turns and ups and downs, if you listen to that inner compass, you'll always find your way. And when you do reach your so-called destination, make sure to look back. Look back at all those investments you've made in time's locker and contemplate on whether it gives you happiness. If it does, then guess what? You've made it. And now all you need to do is shine like a lighthouse for all those who are still lost in the storms of their own making. Time's riddle is not even about time. It's about us. So stop waiting for the so-called happily ever afters and start living to your heart's content right now. Thank you.